If I have a client who qualifies for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, but they have a vehicle that has more equity in it than the state of Ohio will allow, that's where I practice, then we have a discussion about what to do next. And it is not going into a Chapter 13 plan, not in my office. Let me tell you the conversations we have. Let's say I have a client who has a car that is worth $20,000. Nice car, $20,000, and they owe no money on it. They inherited it, they used a 401k to pay it off, whatever the hell happened. They have a car that is worth $20,000 and they owe zero money on it. That means all of what it's worth is equity. They have $20,000 in equity in their car. In the state of Ohio, I can only protect out $6,000. We have a $4,500 car exemption and a $1,500 wild card exemption. Stacked together, $6,000. That's all I can protect in a car. Do you think I'm filing Chapter 13 bankruptcies for every single person who has more than $6,000 in equity? Hell no, I'm not doing that because I'm not a sleazeball lawyer trying to get extra fees from you. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about your options, and you're going to have several. Option number one is to sell your car yourself. I had my client do this just last month. They had to sell a $20,000 car, and he turned around and he bought a $6,000 cash car because that's what he's allowed to have. And hang on, I'll explain what we do from there. He sold his $20,000 car, bought a $6,000 cash car, bought a warranty, tax title, so all of it cost about $8,000, right? So then he had $12,000 left. So then we went through and I told him what to spend that $12,000 on. And it's consistent with everything that is protected in the state of Ohio. For example, he can buy household goods and furnishings. We have a big exemption there. Couches, desks, table, chair, pots, pans, dishes, linens, all of that kind of stuff. You need food? Buy a freezer and fill it up with a half a cow. Go to Sam's Club. Get all of the things. You can go to the doctors. You can go get your eyeglasses. You can get your teeth done. You can go get that MRI you need. You spend it down and you do so with the protection of your bankruptcy lawyer. I make it very clear what my clients can spend their money on. And then we turn around and file bankruptcy. My client's got a $6,000 car that is within the exemption limit, and they spent $12,000 on things they already need. Think house repairs. Think clothing and shoes and books and backpacks for your kids. It's January, get them for next fall, right? So that's option number one. Option number two is my client with a $20,000 car could go into a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and then he could have borrowed from his 401k on the other side of the bankruptcy to buy the equity back from the trustee. So for example, if he didn't want to sell that car, we could have gone ahead and filed a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and the trustee would have been like, ooh, this is a good car. You gonna give me that car? And I'd be like, no, my client wants to keep the car, but he's going to take out a loan from his 401k to pay you the equity that you would have gotten if you'd taken the car away from him. So, if you have a 401k and it's not too much, maybe you keep the car and you buy back the equity from the trustee on the other side. Our trustees will let you pay back the equity over a period of 12 months. So let's say your car has $6,000 more in equity than you're allowed to have. In my state, maybe we would go ahead and file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy and you'd work out a deal paying $500 a month back to the bankruptcy trustee for 10 months. Maybe you do that. Maybe your court will let you do it over 2 years. I don't know. The point is that we do not file a Chapter 13 simply because you have equity in a car. We find a way to solve the problem for you to have something to drive and still be able to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Because remember that $6,000 cash car that my client bought? Well, now that he's filed bankruptcy, in about 6 months, his credit score is going to be pretty good. He's going to be able to take that cash car and put it down on something different that he's going to be able to finance with a pretty good interest rate. So he's going to be able to get back into a $20,000 car. I mean, he already could right now, but he's waiting to be able to get a really good interest rate. So what? He drives a $6,000 cash car for 6 months, uses it as a down payment for the next car. He has no negative equity. He got to file a Chapter 7. And oh, by the way, he's got food and glasses and his teeth are fixed and everything. You see how that works?